What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck, and I am just so excited to present this video today. This is about, of course, the nonsensory and buffoonery nonsense of, yes, I did go in a riddle, NovaTech, Novatechfx, whatever they want to be called day by day. And there is an update that I want to show you guys. First, it's been a minute since I did any reporting on this. I pretty much told you all how this was gonna go, but it's getting even more interesting now. So I want to recap so far what's happened. Lord knows I have a ton of videos on my playlist, the Novatechfx playlist. And let me just show you all, just, you know, for shock value, what that looks like. This is my playlist on the Lady Luck Club. Videos that I've done is under the Novatechfx playlist. Yeah, I've been doing this for a year of reporting and posting videos and just putting information out there. They were always a scam. They were always a scam. The sad part is that it has taken this long to get to this point where it's starting to catch real attention. And when I say real attention, I mean in the courts. So this is the Novatechfx playlist in the Lady Luck Club. And I want y'all to see all these videos where I have not lied one time about Ponzi schemes, Novatech being a scam. That dumb bar trying to lost plain cease orders. It's just, it does not cease to blow my mind. And it's been just this long journey of people, you know, trying to, it's hard to, you know, succumb to the fact that you've been scammed. A lot of people don't want to believe that because no one wants to feel foolish and stupid about having money taken from them. But think about it like this: you can sit and wallow in that, or you could do something about it. And fortunately, things are being done about it, and you're gonna have to take some action. Now, I've always said this. I told you all last year, and I could show you the video where I said that little girl and her dumb husband, them petty-ons, were never going to be heard or seen from ever again. And it was a year ago. After this video I put out about Novatech clown trying to create a wrath, a shower, or whatever. After that, and this was last year where I said you all aren't going to hear from her anymore. You all would not hear from her anymore. She's going to go away because she knows at that point, and this is last year, she knew that the gig was up. She knew that she could not, there was just no recovering from how far down it had failed last year. This is a year ago. And I told you all in that video, you all should not expect to hear from her again. She knows she's done. And she knew she had taken you all's money. And it just, from there, you all didn't hear from her again. You just didn't. So I have done several videos on Lord, the DAP. This lady here, I want y'all to see this video cover. Y'all see that video cover of Corey J. Sampson and Dap Dunbar? Remember that. It's going to come back up. This video cover, my video, is going to come back up. But, I mean, just debunking them and their nonsense, their lies. You know, the fact that no one wants to Google wire fraud. I mean, it's not going to end well. And not just for these dumb petty-ons, but the promoters. I told you all, y'all had it coming. I told you that the promoters, they got it coming too. Because at the end of the day, none of them really want to go to jail. And they definitely don't want to be under federal investigation. But that's exactly what we are now. That's where this whole Ponzi scheme has come to a point where you have promoters now being investigated federally investigated by the SEC, and most recently by the New York Attorney General. How did you all piss off the New York Attorney General? I'm going to show you how. Okay, let's start from, I guess, going back to February. I love Behind MLM. I love you guys so much. Such a good post. They do great articles. You know, they don't play around with it either. They don't bite their tongue. All of this has just came to a point where, between the FBI complaints, the SEC complaints, the FTC complaints, I told you all, the more you file these complaints, the harder it's going to be to ignore. It took a year, but I think it's come to this point where it's starting to really get its momentum. Okay? Y'all have to keep putting that court of public opinion and pressure on the courts. And the New York Attorney General Letitia James is already filed her complaint, and she's on it. And I have the document. We will be looking at the actual court document. I want to thank my I have some connections that sent me a copy of it, and I just want to thank them for sending it to me, because this is the actual court filing. I will be showing you all. Y'all know how I am here in the Lady Luck Club. I like looking at the court documents and going over that stuff. But we're going to go back to February of this year with this $2.3 billion RICO class action lawsuit that was filed in the state of New York. Of course, when you file a lawsuit, which is considered a civil lawsuit, but when you file that, it is most times going to be handled by the courts to which the petitioner resides. That is going to be the district where it's going to be handled. I've told you guys this several times. Y'all can go to my Novatechfx playlist and get a lot of the breakdowns of how this goes, as far as, how it's going to be addressed in court, why it's in New York, just like the cease and desist orders coming from Wisconsin and from Canada and with the OSC. There are reasons why. It's because those complaints and the petitioners that are filing those complaints reside in that state. Now, when it comes to a criminal matter, it's based on where the crime is committed. And because you have such an international type of fraud case like this involving interstate crimes and fraud, meaning through wireless communications, videos, EFTs with bank transfers and stuff like that, it becomes more of a federal, it will be a federal investigation on a national level. Wire fraud would be the easiest thing that the SEC will go after. Period. Even the New York AG is going to start with wire fraud if she has to bring forth criminal charges. More than likely, that's going to be the first major charge that will be seen in a criminal matter, would be the wire fraud. Bottom line. And it's not just going to be these petty odds. Understand, Lil Girl and Dum Dum and her brother brought in recruiters, all these promoters. Everybody's on YouTube still running their mouth talking about, oh, you guys aren't victims. That's not how it's seen in the eyes of the court. No one cares about these promoters hollering how, oh, you guys aren't victims. You knew what you were doing. You should have did your due diligence. Try taking that dumb excuse and that dumb defense to the court of law and see what happens with that. You're probably going to be sanctioned and held to contempt just for pissing the judge off. If you go to court and that's your defense and saying, I promoted a Ponzi scheme that I knew was a Ponzi scheme to all these victims, because they're not victims in my mind. Being the term victim, the definition of that is not based on your personal opinion. It's based on how the court defines it to be, how the law defines it to be, and how dictionary.com defines that term to be. So you can sit here and keep throwing out that dumb defense all day, unlimited freedom. It's not going to matter when you go to court. It's not going to matter when you've been named in a criminal charge from any of these federal government agencies that's doing these investigations. It's not going to matter when an attorney general starts naming promoters and you're one of them in these criminal charges, and now you have to answer to those criminal charges. You can't go to court talking about no one's a victim. You know, they chose to click on my link. That's not how that works in court, and I think you're well aware of that. You of all people are very well of that. So these promoters can start cooperating with these investigations. You've been subpoenaed. You have to give up documents and discovery, all this stuff. You might want to cooperate because you're not smart enough to not do it. You're not smart enough to evade this whole thing. These dumb petty-ons, that little girl been on the run for a year. I'm still waiting on that wrath to go out with the rain shower thing. Child, please. And I told you all, she's not going to come back out and say anything else because she can't back any of that up. I told y'all that. But before you sit here, you're a promoter, you know you're putting this information out, you better start coming up with a good defense. And saying someone's not a victim is not a defense in court. It would not be a defense at all. It would not be merely acceptable. What it will do is show your character and show that you don't care. And the court will see that. And the judge will see that. The jury will see that. The public will see that. If you go into court talking about they're not victims, they don't care what you think. They're going to look at it and say, you did this and you're not even close to being apologetic for it. You have no remorse. You lack remorse. And it's going to speak to your character in a court of law because that's where it's going to matter. And most of you promoters, half y'all don't look like y'all ready for no jail time. And even if you're going to jail, you definitely don't want to go back because that's why half of you trying to hide. That's why you and your leaders hiding. These dumb petty-ons, they've been hiding. They ain't going to be able to hide too long. My understanding, they got minor children. It is only so much you can hide anyway with it. Child, please. Even if they've been homeschooled. At some point, they're going to get discovered. And people just going to start ratting them out. So, don't go to court if you're a promoter. You've been named in these lawsuits. Talking about, oh, no one's a victim. That's not a defense. You might want to come up with something better than that. Lack of remorse. And then the fact that you just don't understand the definition of the term victim is not going to matter in court where you yapping off. You can go on your platforms and your videos and stuff all day and talk about what you think a victim is or is not defined to be. That would be your opinion in a court of law. But when you go to court, the law is going to define the victim. And the judge is going to help you understand why this is not a victimless crime. This is a crime where you stole a lot of people's money under the guise of them getting some return from it. Otherwise, you might as well just have a GoFundMe and say, just give me money. Give me your crypto. I'm not selling you anything. Just help me out. Like, it's ridiculous. Don't promise people stuff that you can't deliver. And then when these things flip and they fall through the cracks, all of a sudden, oh, no one's a victim. Okay, keep talking. Keep running your mouth. Keep talking that crap. Good luck to that. Yeah, these promoters will continue to be named. And I've been saying this for a year. I hope y'all believe me now. Alright. So, Behind MLM, as awesome as they are, posted this up February 8th of 2024 this year about the class action lawsuit being filed in the Southern District of New York. The plaintiff, or the petitioner, Avis Mullins, who is a New York resident. That's why it's in the court of New York, because he's the petitioner, and that is where the jurisdiction is for this case. It's a civil matter, but it's still it's 2.3 billion RICO class action. I mean, yeah, they had a whole money laundering, Ponzi scheme going on, wire fraud, bank fraud. There's so many charges going. Conspiracy to commit fraud, defrauding the government, defrauding the elderly, defrauding churches. They were defrauding everybody. Good Lord. So basically he said, I was an investor and I'm not getting my money back. Wherever these dumb petty-ons are, wherever you are, little girl, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be able to keep hiding. It's not going to work that way. So here are all the defendants that he named in his class action, starting with these dumb petty-ons. Deborah Brasil. This is one of the, I guess, the more original top figureheads. That was the president. I have that in one of my Just the Facts videos, information about her, as well as the other subsidiaries of NovaTech. So you got the NovaTech Ltd, Novatechfx, NovaTech Advisors LLC, NovaPay, Nova Trading OU, and then of course here's where you start seeing these promoters getting named. France Ciceron, lives in New York. He was a senior director promoter. Jean Martin Zizi, Georgia resident, and senior director. Travis D. Birritz in Tennessee, serial promoter. All y'all on YouTube and on social media, all y'all serial promoters. If you put out more than one video, to me that's enough. After the second, maybe third video, let me say that if you put out at least 3 videos, it's hard to say you made 3 mistakes. It's hard to say at some point you didn't know and you try to come out, at least put something out saying I should not have promoted this crap and I'm done doing it. I'm going to try to help however I can. I told y'all that last year. You might want to come out and say, I want to try to help however I can to recover and to help the people I brought into this to recover funding. All my videos were done under, just the ignorance of not knowing this was a full-out Ponzi scheme. Of course, no one wants to succumb to that thought. No one wants to think about losing money, to a Ponzi scheme. But y'all have to remember, this was an international Ponzi scheme. This wasn't just the 2.3 billion. Y'all have to also take into account that's considering crypto as well. They had a whole crypto scam going on. And either you were coming to this Ponzi with crypto or you used cash to buy crypto in it. They weren't trading crypto. None of the crypto was real. That's where the Ponzi comes into play. The crypto was not real. They didn't want to do anything to get legally, licensed to follow whatever. Even in St. Martin, y'all, in one of my Just the Facts videos, they were also required to be registered as a digital assets trading company in St. Martin, in the St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Not St. Martin, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So they didn't want to do anything, not just in the U.S., in any country, to at least be legal or look like you're trying to be legal. Just fake the funk for 10 minutes. All right, whatever. But they didn't want to do anything. And the requirements in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was just as tough as it is here in the U.S. So why these stupid promoters keep talking about the U.S. doesn't want to make money? No, the U.S. doesn't want this stupid Ponzi scheme. They don't want your scams. Neither is Canada or St. Vincent and the Grenadines either. No one takes kind to that. And they're going to piss off the right people in the wrong way. I'm telling you now, I'm not talking about just banks. Y'all going over there to these other countries where they don't take kindly to y'all stealing money from them by the millions. Yeah, okay. That's why you're not going to be able to say and hide it for long, little girl. I'm telling you right now, you might want to make your way back to the U.S. if you're not here. I think she here. That's just my gut feeling. I don't think she left the U.S. It's easy to hide in plain sight. That's just kind of my theory on that. But don't take my word for that one. But that's kind of my theory on that. All this other stuff I've been right about. That part, I'm just giving a hunch. I think she's just hiding in plain sight. And I don't think she would take her chances trying to cross the waters, knowing she has minor children and elderly parents and all of that. I just don't think she would take the risk on doing all of that. And you never know. You go out there to them other countries, honey. They'll be looking for you. And you will not have protection. They're going to be trying to find you. Go out there, steal that money if you want to for them. The real, look, them real gangsters in other countries that don't care about nothing about our U.S. laws. No ma'am. There ain't no asylum over there. None, little girl. No asylum. Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. So, Bob St. Louis, Long Island, that's New York. John Garofano, Paul Dorenzo, the one I told y'all was going to flip last year. James Corbett. You know, so this is naming a whole lot of people. And of course, you know, you guys can't forget they came from a whole nother Ponzi scheme with AWS mining. You know, and they just went from one Ponzi to another. They just, both of them just weird as hell. And he's given all of the complaints here as alleged by Mullins. You know, he's basically saying they participated in management day-to-day operations on a high level. They were privy to confidential information. They failed to file financial statements. Something else I went over that they were federally required to do. You got to file financial disclosures. You don't have a choice with that. You don't. If you want to operate as some sort of financial anything, you have to file financial disclosures, financial statements, you know, expenses. You got to file this stuff. You don't get to trade anything and not file the financial disclosures that go with it. So then, of course, the cease orders that came from Washington against AWS, Wisconsin, California, Russia. They got one from Russia. Why would they want to piss them off? So, you know, it just kind of goes down the list. The ambassadors, these people here. He looks familiar. I don't know who that is. He looked like Bob St. Louis. Yeah, calling himself a minister. Oh, Lord. Hell just got hot. Yeah, y'all. You can't walk around here talking about you a reverend and a minister and stuff and you stealing money. Ooh, they're going to hell, Lord. All right, let's keep going. Here's some of these folks here. That Paul Dorenzo person, he was already named in that Wisconsin cease order. I told y'all he's gonna flip. They're not trying to go to jail. They none of them look like they fit for jail or even prison. This clown down here, James Corbett, started a whole nother Ponzi scheme, and then he cocky about it. He got caught in Georgia. It was reported here in Georgia. So, you know, just dumb people doing dumb things, thinking that they're gonna get away with it. You got too many victims out there, and yes, the law does define the term victim to be one who has been victimized, who's innocently fell, you know, victim to anything that's caused them harm and damage, a loss. That's a victim, and it's beyond their control. So keep playing around with that if you want to. Not gonna work out well for you. And I got a whole year's worth of videos to prove that I've been right this whole time. Here's another lawsuit that came about February 6th with Morris Legal announcing that $2 billion lawsuit. So here's just the reporting on it. You guys can look this up. It was on the news. This is gaining some traction. I mean, it's starting to get the reporting it needs to have. That Reverend CEO title was annoying. So, yeah, this is what happens when you get bold and try to do a Ponzi scheme like this and then think that because you call yourself a reverend, everybody's just supposed to be okay with that. That's not how that works. Nope, not at all. Here's where it gets interesting. The SEC has finally decided, and I'm smiling because I'm going to show y'all why in a minute. They finally decided to go after in court order Dapolino Dunbar and Corey Sampson. And in case y'all don't remember who they are, I'm going to show you in a minute. But, you know, here's the filing here. So they got court order to enforce investigative subpoenas against these two promoters, basically. Y'all see, this is what happens when you go on YouTube and you talk about put money into this Ponzi scheme and don't worry about it. Oh, okay. I have debunking that Dunbar video from that meeting they had, him and Corey Sampson. This viral video, well, I don't say it's viral, but I mean, it had at least over 50,000 views on it. And then they tried to take it down. That's not how it works when you go on a public platform, do a video, and then you realize this is embarrassing and then you want to take it down. No, it's not how it works at all. Because people like me recorded it and then I put it on my channel and it's still there. And there it shall remain. So, I even filed the SEC complaint, and I used all my evidence and information I had gathered. I told you all these SEC complaints, even if it's a matter of getting a court order and they being held in contempt of it, and then they can be punished from that point, it's a starting point. So it's gotten their attention. They got subpoenaed. When you have these types of investigations and stuff, it's called discovery and evidence that's supposed to be shared by both parties. They have the right to subpoena them. A judge has to sign off on that. That's why it says court order. So when you have a subpoena, the agency has to go to court and say, look, we have evidence to believe that this is what they're doing, this is what's going on, this is what we have so far, and this is what we're asking for. It has to be specific and related to the investigation. It directly related to the investigation and the scope of that investigation, within that scope. And the judge signed off on that subpoena. And the judge would not sign off on it if it was not valid. So that's how that works. So there are subpoenas for that Dunbar and Corey Sampson, and they're not complying with it. And Corey Sampson, you don't look like the type of person that wants to sit here and just dodge a subpoena from a court order. You don't seem like the type of person that would be willing to go to jail or be sanctioned or fined. Just cooperate. I hope, I don't know if she's still here with us or whatever, but there's no reason for you to ignore this, because it's not going to go away. You can pray it away, but listen here. God said that thou art to obey the laws of the land. And the laws of the land we live in here in the United States of America, based on our Constitution, says that you've been ordered with a subpoena, been court ordered to give over information that they're seeking. And I suggest you do that. Y'all better stop making God mad and being hypocritical to this stuff. You got to obey the laws of the land. It's still a matter of obedience, is it not? I'm just saying. So if you can't do it, then get an attorney and you can explain why. But just ignoring it is not going to work either. I can't afford a lot of things with the court, but I tell them that. But don't sit here and just ignore it. Tell them, like, this is what's going on. These are the hurdles that I'm having. And you go from there. But you don't seem like the type of person that's going to sit here and just be able to run from this. And you don't look like you fit for jail or anything. So cooperate. And wherever that Dunbar is, he got to come back out of hiding. He got 5-6 kids somewhere. Dude, this is not a good look. You're literally trying to dodge the SEC in a court-ordered subpoena. Stop it. You're teaching your kids that it's okay to ignore a court order, ignore a subpoena, and there should be no consequences for it. No, there are a lot of consequences for it, bro. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. This is not a good lesson to be teaching your children. So, yeah, they're refusing to comply, and it's about to get real for them. It's about to get real. So, yep, court granted the SEC's application, ordered Dunbar and Sampson to produce documents responsive to the commission's subpoena, and ordered Sampson to appear for testimony. Why? They might not be able to find Dap the dummy, but Corey Sampson, you don't seem like the one that's one of those criminals that's trying to go on the run type of things. I don't get that from you. So you were ordered to appear. Hire an attorney and go to court. The end. And tell them what you know. Be done with it. The SEC is continuing its fact-finding investigation and to date has not concluded that any individual or entity has violated the federal securities laws. Because they always say that because you're innocent to proven guilty. Blah, blah, blah. All right. Here's the part that I like. So once again, the great Behind MLM, February 15, 2024, confirms that SEC investigation that I just read from the SEC's website. And this, oh Lord, Dap, you just weird, bro. You are weird. AKA Mr. Amazing and Tiger. Yeah. And he doesn't look like the type of person that wants to go to jail. Look like you be running for life. You need to stop running, cooperate. You got kids. Just stop. So, following non-compliance and investigative subpoena served on Depp and Corey, the SEC obtained a court order enforcing compliance. He has a Facebook page up. Why? I don't know. They had Team Diamond. SEC claims Dunbar has approximately 10,000 investors. They said that. He said that himself on YouTube in videos numerous of times. This isn't something anyone's making up. He said that himself, and if you don't believe me, I have the video in my playlist on my channel. He said that himself. So, yeah, that's what happens. But Dunbar's victims invested at least $50 million in cryptocurrency. The SEC cites Corey J. Sampson is cited as a co-founder of Team Diamond and appeared alongside Dunbar in marketing webinars. Did y'all see this video? Guess whose video that is? Thank you, behind MLM. That came off my video for my channel. I'm so excited. Happy to aid in this investigation however I can, because this is not a victimless crime. Many victims of this that the court would deem to be a victim, because that's what whose definition and opinion would matter at the end of the day with this type of stuff, has said, you all have stolen a lot of money and now you have to pay the price for it. So, yep. But that was a whole, that video thing. He trying to law explain cease orders, talking about his fake. Now you have a court-ordered subpoena from the SEC because you're an idiot. Look at that. And then, of course, Corey Sampson, who does not look like the type of person that's going to be out here just running from subpoenas. You were ordered to appear in person in court to give testimony. I suggest you go to court. Her Facebook profile says she's a resident of California. Mind you all, one of the cease orders came from California. They had the cease order California, Wisconsin, and in Ontario, Canada. And there's probably more to come because, might as well. But quoting Sampson in her NovaTech marketing material from January just of last year, claimed that Team Diamond had 50,000 investors who together invested over $296 million. So if you all were lying, now you're in trouble for lying. If you were telling the truth, you're really in trouble for stealing $296 million. Either way, it's not a good look, and you not going to court is not an option. You need to go to court. Go to court, Corey. Go to court. So this is just, you guys can read this on Behind MLM's website. All the things that they claimed and stated in their videos. And they can't say that wasn't me because it was them, clearly. And of course, they put on, social media posts, anything dealing with wireless communication. That's wire fraud. That is the epitome of wire fraud. So if there's a charge to come out from it, I guarantee you all, one of the first ones would be wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Because that's how that works. That is how that works. All right. So you guys can read on down below. I mean, they're court ordered to do this. You need to appear for testimony. Go to court. Y'all continue to fail to comply with these subpoenas, you can run the risk of being held in contempt of court. Hopefully it just leads to a bench warrant for your arrest, and you all going to jail until you get it together and get y'all some attorneys and stop playing around with this, because you're not smart enough to just say that this was you didn't know it was a Ponzi scheme. Yeah, you did. And I have a whole debunking your dumb lies from that same marketing video on my channel, from this video, where I literally debunked your lies on basic definitions of terms. Y'all didn't want to take a cease order seriously. This is what happens. People don't play with their money, and stealing $296 million is a lot of money. A lot of people could have used to do a lot of things. So y'all think twice next time y'all go trying to steal hundreds of millions of dollars from people. And then think y'all ain't gonna go out and, oh Lord, and have to answer to this stuff. Behind MLM first reported on the SEC's Novatechfx investigation back in August of 2023. Our source was Empire X's Joshua Nicholas. Y'all remember that? I did a video on that as well, where I posted up the documents there. And I told you all, he's gonna flip. All these promoters, if they know what's good for them, they gonna flip as well. If Corey Sampson knows what's good for her, she's not gonna sit here and try to go on the run. She's gonna go to court and appear and testify. That Dunbar, your dumb behind, you need to stop running. Stop avoiding this. It's like the plague. You're not gonna get away from it. You just have to go and give them the information they want. Just go to the court. Get you an attorney, ask for a hearing, and appear in court. And go from there. And cooperate. Stop doing all that. It's dumb. And it's futile. Moving on. This is the creme de la creme of it all. Finally, the New York Attorney General sues two crypto pyramid schemes promoters targeting Haitian Americans in 1 billion scam. Whoo, Lord. Y'all them dumb peons, they just don't understand. Preyed on Creole-speaking churchgoers and advertised their scheme as a way to gain freedom from the plantation, which they said in many videos that I have on my channel. They put this stuff out in videos on public platforms. They already said, they admitted to it in numerous videos on my channel. So, to the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, if you would like to see those videos of these dumb peons telling on themselves, please check out Lady Luck Club. Click Novatechfx playlist, and all those videos will be there. It's just literally that easy. It's not even, at this point, there's no hiding it. It's so much content out there. It's hard for them to just, they can try to take down the lead stuff all day. Y'all want to, I'll get a federal government to protect my channel. Y'all ain't taking nothing off my channel. I'll tell you that right now. And YouTube better not even play around with it. It'll be clear they're trying to do that to keep from having information released out to the public. Nope. It's already out there. It's already out there. So I told you all, the SEC, the FBI, the FTC, the New York Attorney General behind MLM. They're watching these YouTube videos. They're watching these videos. They're paying attention. And I'm sure to tag every single last one of those agencies in my videos. I tag everybody in these NovaTech videos because I want people to see this. This is ridiculous. So she filed this 2 days ago. This came out June 6th. And I had a confidant send me the copy of the report that I'm going to pull up. So you guys can check this out, this article here. But she's filed this lawsuit. I have a copy of the complaint. And this is not just about NovaTech. It's also, she's going after AWS Mining and NovaTech. And they didn't just prey on Creole-speaking churchgoers. They preyed on everybody. They preyed on people in Canada, people in Mexico, you know, people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, across the U.S., in Australia. They preyed on everybody. They're internationally prayers. They just preying on every single person, you know, lying to them, robbing Peter to pay Paul, because that's what Ponzi schemes are, really. So, you know, and they walk away with all the money, and now they're sitting here hiding in plain sight somewhere where they don't think anybody's going to find them. And no, you'll be found, little girl. They coming for you, girl. Ooh, they coming for you. You done pissed off a lot of people. I told you that. I told y'all she done made a lot of people mad. Stop walking around here talking about ain't nobody a victim either. You gonna catch it. You might not want to do videos where you're construing the definition of the term victim. It's not your opinion of it. In court, it's not going to be your opinion of it. And no respectable judge will allow you to sit here and redefine the definition of the term victim. No respectable judge will allow you to do that. So go in there and act like a hard ass if you want to. They'll show you the hard one. No, they're going to show you the easy way. They're just gonna take everything you got, and then they're gonna lock you up. This is a dumb thing to go to prison over, Corey Sampson and Dap, dummy. Go to court, bro. So, yep, they were all over the internet. That's why I said this is definitely a good case for wire fraud. I mean, good Lord, it's a slam dunk for wire fraud. All right, so y'all check that article out. Read it. It's still irritating to even hear her refer to herself as a Reverend CEO. You're the worst. You're just the worst. All right. Creme de la creme. This is it. I would like to thank my sources for sending me this over. And y'all see at the bottom. I mean, court documents could be FOIA under the Transparency Act, Freedom of Information Act. Everything goes on in the court could literally be FOIA. But this was sent to me. It was this copy of this pleading is a copy of the pleading filed electronically pursuant to New York State Court Rules 22 NYCRR Statute 202-5-BD31. But it has not been seen by the county clerk. So it has not been stamped. But this is just a copy of the filing itself. This has not been seen by the county clerk, and it clearly says it on here. Just had to throw that out there. But this could be edited and revised. I highly doubt it to be revised too much. It's going to just end up with the complaint number. It's going to have that blue stamp at the top with it being filed with the clerk of the court. But for the most part, this is, consider this a draft of the document, if you will. But trust me, the draft isn't going to change too much because you have way too many defendants who aren't responding. So it is what it is. And this is what the people of the state of New York by Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, has filed in the, I think this is the Northern District in New York, if I'm not mistaken. But nature of the action, defendants, these dumb peons, defrauded thousands of investors worldwide over $1 billion by promoting 2 consecutive fraudulent investment schemes. Yes, she is going back to AWS Mining as well as NovaTech because they had a hand in that one as well, which more than likely is going to bring in the other owners of AWS Mining into the picture. And quite frankly, it should. I mean, same 2 people running all these schemes and stealing all this money. Yeah, get them all. So you guys can see here, you know, the basically it's just a complaint in the beginning. She's giving the background on AWS Mining, when it started, who was all involved in it, just the standard intro. Then of course NovaTech. It's funny how they were given a cease to desist order as AWS Mining, and then turn around and just basically kicked out 2 people and then renamed it because it was the same concept. One was, oh, we're mining for something that doesn't exist. And NovaTech is, here's something that doesn't exist that we're trading. So AWS, we're mining for something that doesn't exist, that cryptocurrency nonsense. And then NovaTech is, we're trading crypto that we never mined to begin with, and none of it exists. It's not real. None of it is real. Whatever. So they really just got themselves hemmed up, and that's on them for going from one Ponzi scheme to another. But that's what they did. So they had these PAM accounts and Forex and all this stuff, and this is, you walk around talking about I'm reverend and just want people to just join and follow mindlessly. Look, she says here, let me see, let's read this. Number 9. Read number 9. Upon establishing NovaTech, defendant Lil Girl rebranded herself as Reverend CEO, called NovaTech's founders Cynthia Petion, Lord, the visionaries behind NovaTech, and proclaimed to investors that NovaTech was God's vision. The devil is a liar. The devil is a whole lie. And so is Cynthia Petion. Lord. However, in private chats with defendant ZZ, Cynthia Petion called herself the zookeeper, her investors a cult and rejected ZZ's suggestion that NovaTech was like a country club. In a club, people know what they are signing up for, while in NovaTech, people join and follow mindlessly. They don't think. They just agree with everything you say. I did a video where I told you all about the way Cynthia Pettion thought. Her education, her having this degree in psychology and mental health and being able to understand the way people think, that psychology degree, that education was put to good use, because she knows if you get people to believe that you're some sort of religious figurehead, they're not going to question you twice when you say it's coming from God. And that's unfortunately the downfall to a lot of these Ponzi schemes that have existed throughout time, in the US especially. Look at Jim Jones. She's a black female version of Jim Jones, except thankfully 600 people are still alive. But this is what happens when you have people like her who understand how people think and the mental behavior of just average human beings, and how strong and powerful religion can be. And they play on that. And they sit here, and I'm saying this as a Christian, they play on this nonsense. You get pastors and bishops and stuff, they do this all the time. And they hoodwink people out of millions of dollars and don't care. At the end of the day, they don't feel any remorse about it, because they've gotten you to believe this is what God wanted. They don't believe that themselves, but they got you to believe that. And that's exactly what she said here. And whoever this ZZ person is, they just flat out told on them. This came out of a private chat. I hope y'all see this. However, in private chats with defendant ZZ, Cynthia Pettion called herself the zookeeper, her investors a cult, and rejected ZZ's suggestion that NovaTech was like a country club. Like, now, this is coming from this little girl, Cynthia Pettion herself, telling someone else this. She didn't even think about you all enough to even say that you all were a country club. She called you all a cult herself. I said that last year for many, many months in all my videos. This is a cult. Because people just got into it. And this is why I say you can't go to court trying to redefine the term victim either. Because she knew what she was doing. This little girl knew what she was doing. And she knew that if she kept saying, this is what God wants, and she got millions of people to believe that, she knew that you all would continue to just follow her with this blind faith. And unfortunately, your faith was displaced in the wrong person. You put your faith in NovaTech and in an individual saying that there's some reverend and that God gave them a vision. You know, I can say the same thing here. I just fear God too much for that. I don't think I could just steal my... It's one thing to ask for help. I have a GoFundMe, I ask for help. But I'm not telling people they're going to get something out of it. You're not getting no 3% interest rate or anything. I just told my story and told the truth in my GoFundMe. This nonsense here is not only criminal, but you just got hell hotter. Like seriously. So it's gross that she literally realized that she's bamboozling people and consider you all a cult. Millions of people, she called y'all a cult. Unlimited freedom. She called you a cult member. Cynthia Pettion said you're in a cult and you just mindlessly followed her. So you want to sit here and say people aren't victims? You might not care. You promoted it. You signed people up. You got money for it. But look at all the people who didn't. That she knew would just follow along with this cult-like mentality. And she didn't care. She didn't care. Many private communications to this defendant ZZ. Man, investors were heated when AWS closed. Laugh out loud. But who else are they going to go to? Girl. Ooh, child. You're going to have to go into solitary confinement because you're going to have a lot of people willing to whoop your ass. I try not to cuss. Oh, my God. So many people going to be willing to whoop your butt. Little girl, it's not even going to be funny. You're going to have to ask for solitary confinement. Ooh. That's a bold move to sit here and to call these folks cult members. And then to laugh this off like it's a joke. While praising the vision of NovaTech, defendant ZZ wrote to defendant Petion, some people will never see the vision you see in NovaTech. Focus and recruit the visionaries. Defendant Cynthia Petion replied, they see it when you drive by in that Bentley. Woo! You going to hell, girl, in a hot handbasket. You hear me? Enjoy that fast fall. And we going to see that when you on your way down on Judgment Day. How about that? You the worst. You are the worst, Petion. You the worst, little girl. You are the worst. You are the worst. Wow, in that Bentley. Why people struggle to pay their mortgage. Or to pay, then y'all say people was telling you all they were paying cancer treatments. Ooh, y'all going to hell. Defendants falsely marketed NovaTech as a registered hedge fund broker. They did. I have that in my Just the Facts video. I mean, they literally said it in videos. This little girl is so stupid. She said it. And people didn't bother to look that up. And it's unfortunate. And all I get understanding. Y'all got to start Googling stuff. Call these promoters out when they still sitting here talking about, oh, come sign up and click the link for this over here. When you put up a link, it's one thing to talk about this crypto program or whatever you trying to advertise, still unlimited freedom. It's another thing when you put a link up and then you say you can click the link, I get money for it. If not, whatever. I'm not forcing you. Just because you're not forcing it doesn't mean you're not marketing it. Obviously, you don't understand the definition of the term solicitation. So let me help you out. You could give information about something. But if you are benefiting from this, even financially, you are soliciting. Because you're getting something out of that. And you're still stupid enough to put up a link and have people sign up for something. And just because you're saying, I'm getting money for it if you click it, so it is what it is, does not mean it is not a victimless crime. It is. It still is. And y'all talk about God so frivolously. It's sickening to hear people talk about God this and God that while they still steal money willfully with no consciousness of it. This is stuff that was noted from private chats. And this had to have come from either the platform they were exchanging this information on or the defendant ZZ gave up this information. Somebody told on somebody. I'm curious to know who. I'm assuming this defendant ZZ probably just gave up that information. Because I don't recall seeing anywhere where they got this information from the platform they were exchanging all these chats on. They could have gotten it from those servers, like they had to maybe subpoena it or whatever. Or it could have been the defendant ZZ gave this information to the court as part of the discovery and what was subpoenaed. I mean, this is what happens when you get a subpoena. This type of information lands in court documents. Naturally. This is crazy. All right, let's keep going. So, just because y'all, this is 62 pages, and y'all don't have this, I do. But I'm just gonna quick scroll. Like I said, this is it could have been accepted or rejected by the clerk of court, but this is just consider this a rough draft. When the filing is accepted by the clerk of the court, you can still do a FOIA for it. So it's not as if this will be a secret. It's not sealed. It's going to be public information. It is what it is. A lot of times when they seal something, they give a reason why it's sealed. But, you know, I don't think there's any secret about this because too many of us made videos, I know myself included, about this Ponzi scheme, and good Lord. So, yeah, the representation by NovaTech were materially false and misleading. They were never licensed by any regulatory entity. They weren't a hedge fund. They had no hedge funds, none of that. They will lie and say they had a hedge fund, then they will lie and say they were their own hedge fund. They just lied just to keep y'all busy, I guess. I don't know. Investors deposited over $1 billion worth of crypto, and yet they said they was trading that crypto. I posted videos about the in-house trading versus true trading that's going to the market. So the in-house trading stuff, let me tell y'all something. Those little penny crypto things, most of them can be created if they're fake. I posted a video up on another YouTuber that showed how to create fake crypto so people can be aware of genuine crypto versus fake crypto. So, you know, that's what they did. They had fake crypto that was absolutely worthless, that meant nothing to a market, that was not generating any ROI or interest or anything on it. It didn't exist. Just see it like that. That's like me saying I have a picture and y'all can't see it. But because I'm telling y'all it's there, y'all give me money to buy a picture you can't see. And then I'm saying I'm going to take this picture and take it to an art gallery and sell it for twice as much. And guess what? That's not the case, because the picture doesn't exist. But simply because I told you all that and y'all bought the imaginary picture that I said I'm trading with people and getting 3% off of, and y'all will be able to get all this money every week. No. Whatever little money you got, it was because what other people came into this Ponzi scheme with. But they never traded anything. The crypto wasn't even real. It had no value to it. And I literally gave one of the names of the cryptos, that BTU thing, whatever. It was like worth 8 pennies, US pennies. So and y'all are spending hundreds of dollars on penny crypto that's not even valuable or just doesn't exist at all. That's how that went. Throughout the entirety of the scheme, NovaTech announced. So they have, of course, more information on the worthless trading platform that never existed, promising you all these ridiculous ROIs. Of course, that fake website that was not real, with fake addresses that they were using, customer service email addresses that, you know, really was just being managed by DAP and a couple other people, that they weren't really, that there was no customer service department, none of that, you know. And then, of course, she goes through how it got to the point of what started the downfall. You know, it lasted 3-4 years too long, if you ask me. But going back to June 2022, they secretly sold their house in Florida and fled to Panama. And this is based on what the evidence and information, testimony that the Attorney General Letitia James either has discovered or was told. So in here it says that they sold their home and fled to Panama. The defendant, Cynthia Petion, wanted everyone to still think we're in Florida, because she wanted y'all to think that, just like she wanted you all to think that NovaTech was a real thing, or that she was actually trading crypto when they weren't. So, and told defendant ZZ to leave the country. They can't serve you if they can't find you, LOL. Shortly after defendants Petion left the U.S., the NovaTech scheme began to unravel. This is how she's thinking, y'all. This is what she's telling this defendant in messages, in private messages, or what she thought was private on public platforms that could easily be subpoenaed. Like, you're not that smart, little girl. This is what she thought of y'all. This is how she handled this whole thing. Shortly after defendants Petion left the U.S., NovaTech scheme began to unravel. She really think that if you leave the country, they can't serve you if they can't find you. That just because they can't find you doesn't mean that the service is still not valid. That's not how courts work. This is how stupid you are, little girl. You're so dumb. That's not how it works in the court. They consider it served even if they can't find you. It's not going to stop the process from going on. It doesn't stop the case and the investigation. It don't stop any of that. And you forget about the aspect of you being, brought back and extradited. Like, that's a whole term you somehow not familiarize yourself with. You can be extradited. If you sit here and piss off Panama or wherever you are, that's not in the U.S., they can extradite you. The U.S. can make an agreement with that country if they really want you and have you extradited back here. Even if they say we don't do business with this country to extradite people, it's not because they can't do it. It's because that other country might make it difficult for the U.S. to get someone out of there. And then they have to sit here and give up somebody. It happened with Russia. We were able to expedite that WNBA player, the basketball, lady that played basketball. And we don't have an extradition treaty with Russia. But what we had to give up was like 10 years worth of FBI investigations and someone that they were able to nab in exchange for the WNBA player. So don't think you can't be extradited, stupid. You're so, like this is the cockiness of your stupidity. You literally think that the U.S. cannot come up with some sort of plan to extradite you back here. Even if there is no known extradition treaty, our ability to be able to get someone from Russia is proof that even without an extradition treaty, we could come up with agreement if we really want somebody. So stop that nonsense. Where did you all get that from? As if there are no case law precedents in place or examples to show that the U.S. can have you extradited, even with countries that we're not so friendly with. Who told you this? You girl, she's so stupid. Y'all need to get an attorney. If y'all are promoters, y'all better get an attorney, because this is how your cult leader was thinking. This is her dumb thinking. They can't serve you if they can't find you. They can extradite you, dummy. Good Lord. I have no respect for you, so I don't mind calling you an idiot, because that's exactly what you are. In the fall of 2022, Canadian and U.S. state security regulators served cease and desist orders on NovaTech for selling and promoting unregistered securities and fraud. People started withdrawing their money. Y'all realized there wasn't no money there. Then it just started dwindling. Defendants ZZ, Corbett, and Ciceron individually and through their entities made off with millions of dollars in recruitment payoffs and profits. Defendants Petition transferred tens of millions of dollars worth of crypto out of NovaTech. So the real crypto that you all gave to NovaTech, thinking that they want to trade and get this ridiculous ROI profit from, and the money you all gave to them to buy crypto that was either fake or absolutely worthless, they kept that real money and then created these fake bogus accounts on their website. Had you all thinking y'all logging into something, you were looking at real accounts. You were looking at real profits. No, you weren't. The website was fake. All of that was fake. So that's how they got away with this. That's how Ponzi schemes work. And if you understand that, you don't sit here and say, oh, this is just a risk. We knew the risk. No, this was a Ponzi scheme and no one was prepared for this crap. And all the promoters that keep thinking, oh, this was just, you understand the high risk. Stop making excuses for it. Because at some point, you're going to be subpoenaed as well. And when they find out where you are, you will be extradited too. It's just a matter of time. It's not a matter of it if it's going to happen or not. No, it's happening. It's just a matter of time. I don't think it would be hard to find her. You can follow the money all day, but there are a lot more things that I hope she loves more than money, like her children and her parents, her spouse. They have their ways of finding you. And I don't know why you think running is going to be in conducive to, your good favor. It's not. And then you going to have to go to prison and be put in solitary confinement because everybody going to beat the crap out of you. So many people be so mad. Ooh, child, you stole billions of dollars. Good God. You can share a cell with Sam Bankman-Fried. Look at it. She going to prison. Please let this happen quickly. Defendant scheme to defraud investors by luring them into AWS mining. Yada yada yada. That's that. I mean, this, y'all can read this. This is basically what they was telling y'all they were mining for something that they weren't mining at all. Of course, it was deceptive, fraudulent, illegal acts and practices in violation of the Martin Act and the executive law. They broke so many laws and rules, and the list goes on. So the parties would be, of course, the people of the state of New York, represented by Letitia James, the Attorney General. She's authorized to bring this action and to assert the causes of action set forth below in the name and on behalf of the people of the state of New York. They're, of course, the defendants, and that being these dumb pettyons and all of the subsidiaries that they can find. This is man. All of the promoters, y'all got it coming to you. Defendants, Kings, let me go back to the defendants, because there was a whole lot of them. All right, you got NovaTech Ltd, NovaTech Advisors LLC, AWS Mining, these dumb pettyons, Martin ZZ, James Corbett, Frank Ciceron, NovaPay LLC, Kings Multi-Services Agency LLC, Trinity of Success, Positive Vision of Marketing LLC. Jesus Christ. They just made up stuff. I mean, it's so obvious. Whew. Canada, listen. Y'all might want to start. Here you go. Here's the courts issuing a complaint, filing these legal actions. And I guarantee you, with this investigation, there will be criminal charges brought forth. This is not going to just be a civil matter. It's gonna turn into a criminal matter as well. Because fraud is a federal offense. It's as simple as that. So this isn't going to be just, this is just a civil issue. Nope. Y'all done pissed off with the Attorney General. So, and I hope the Attorney General in Wisconsin, California, Georgia, Tennessee, we can just keep going. All of them also file complaints as well. Let's just stack them up. And once the FBI I think this is going to kickstart the FBI investigation as well, and it's just going to go from there. I'm telling you all, this is just because y'all don't see what's happening doesn't mean nothing's happening. I've been saying that. So these are the parties, the information on each of the parties. Good Lord. I'm curious as to, because a couple of them I haven't heard of. The defendant Kings Multi-Services Agency is owned by defendant Ciceron, located in Brooklyn, New York. Kings Multi-Services Agency had an account with NovaTech and held the highest ceremonial title of a 2-star ambassador to reflect defendant Ciceron's level of success in recruiting new investors to sign up under the account of his entity. Defendant Kings Multi-Services Agency received funds from NovaTech for the benefit of defendant Ciceron. Defendant Kings Multi-Services Agency is defendant Ciceron's alter ego. Enjoy that alter ego in prison. Defendant James Corbett, that was the one that started out with this, and then he went and did his own thing and still got caught. And then he arrogant about it. Like, you just, none of that helps you all, with you promoters. Talk about who's a victim, not a victim. That doesn't help you all. It just makes you look like the soulless miscreants that you are. And that's how I feel about it. You're a soulless miscreant. And you're no better than Cynthia Pettyon if you walk around and you say, well, it sucks that we all got scammed, but none of you all are victims because you knew what you were doing. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? This is 62 pages long. I dare you to read this and they'll still think everyone was well aware of all of this happening. in the 62-page document file. Kick rocks. Barefoot. Then jump off a bridge. All right. James Corbett was promoter of AWS Mining and NovaTech. So they just went from AWS Mining to NovaTech, still stealing money and scamming everybody. Martin ZZ is the one that she was sharing these messages with. Was a promoter of both of these Ponzi schemes through his entity defendant Trinity of Success Club. Trinity of the Success Club. King's Multi-Services Agency. These are so fake. It screams I'm fake. Good Lord. Held the highest ceremonial title of 2-star ambassador. Resident of the state of Georgia, why I think that the AG for the state of Georgia needs to file a complaint as well. Former resident of New York. He owns real estate defendants. ZZ is a man. Martin ZZ sounds like a guy. All right. Owns real property in Queens County. I'm sure that should probably say real estate property, but whatever. Real property in Queens County, New York. That was ZZ's alter ego. Basically, it's saying that this is their other persona. So they took money for themselves through a fake company, which is why you have that lawsuit from that talks about RICO charges. So you get this type of money laundering and embezzlement, to this extent where it's repetitive over an extended period of time, that could be charged under RICO. And that's the racketeering. It basically has to say you've done this repetitively over an extended period of time, knowing that you did it under the guise of these fake companies that aren't real nowhere. So y'all stop thinking just because you're not in the U.S. they cannot have you extradited and go get you and find you. They will. Y'all done pissed off way too many people to think you're going to keep hiding. That's not how this works. Defendant Positive Vision Marketing LLC, owned by defendant ZZ, is another. It's like 2 or 3 fake companies back to back. Good God. Y'all can always pause this and just read it. So, jurisdiction and venue. The court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of this action because it's being brought forth by the Attorney General in New York. That is the jurisdiction that she holds there in that district. So that's why that jurisdiction and venue is not challenged. She has jurisdiction. All right. Factual allegations. These are the facts of the case, and what they have is evidence from either through testimony or evidence and documentation that they've been able to gather so far. And what you saw before this was just basically kind of the intro, who the petitioners are, the defendants are, just the background, the jurisdiction and venue. Now you have the factual allegations of the case. This is evidence. So this is already proven. This is not something, they have to, in a criminal matter, the burden is beyond a reasonable doubt. In a civil proceeding, it's preponderance of evidence, which is like 51%. So out of 100 people, 51 of the 100 people believe what you're saying. You pretty much can meet your burden. I'm sure this is, if it goes to trial, will be a jury trial. And preferably they'll end up just go ahead and filing criminal charges along with it. So this is basically just kind of going over the factual allegations. This is AWS mining, real mining, not fake mining. Oh God. Like they put like the just most basic dumb stuff on YouTube. Okay, so here's the facts too, where I told you all where the FBI, where they watch videos on YouTube. They watch this stuff. The Attorney General, they watch this stuff. And guess what they do? YouTube channels, they will put that in there. If they can back up what you're saying with documents, which is why I always had documentation to look stuff up in real time. Definitions of terms like defamatory and victim. Like, this is why I did all of that. because it's a public platform. Court documents are available to the public, can be FOIA'd. Anything on public platform can be viewed by the public. It's not a secret. It's all about substantiating the claim. This is where they can cite your YouTube channel. So that's what they did. And this is factual information. That's why I said I have thousands of videos on my channel where, I posted up these dumb Patreons saying that they were their own hedge fund, or saying that they had a hedge fund, or just because they said it themselves in videos. So that's factual evidence. I mean, it's obviously them. They said it. They recorded themselves and they put it on a public platform in some form of wireless communication and promoted it. The end. That's how that works. They can't deny it was not them. It was them. They did it. They were proud of it. God. So they promoted this stuff, and they have all the people that were promoting this and how they did it, mining farms, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to read all this stuff because, like I said, this thing is 62 pages long. But defendants Patreon each became top promoters in the AWS nonsense scam. They was in May 21st, 2018, YouTube video titled "Full Interview with AWS VP Cynthia Pettion." Defendant Cynthia Pettion bragged, "I bought a $2,000 plan. It's made over $5,000 in mining bonuses, but it's made $300,000 in 6 months' time in the affiliate recruiting program." This video was viewed hundreds of times because videos is factual evidence. You make the video. Then, defendant AWS Mining prepared slide decks. They made it available on the websites they created. Jesus. In the same video, dated in the same above, on May 21st, 2018, she called AWS Mining a virtual ATM and promised that people can make a ridiculous amount of passive income, including a monthly return of 15% and a 200% return on investment. She stated that with a $40 investment, you can literally go on to make hundreds or thousands of dollars a week. A day is totally in your control. Jesus. Whoo, and that's what they put on videos. So, and I think I have that video on my channel. It's in one of my videos. The recruitment process, yeah, it's a whole lot in here. So y'all can just go through it, read it. Let's say, I'm sure they're gonna bring up their bankruptcies. They filed bankruptcies at least twice. That's why in one of my previous videos I said they can't keep going back to court because it's called bankruptcy fraud. You can't keep going back to court hollering, "I'm broke, I'm broke, I'm broke." At some point, the court and the judges need to see the pattern of behavior, and they're going to start objecting and denying their petitions to file another bankruptcy. Because you can't steal money, spend it, and then say, "I'm broke, I can't pay these people back." Just trying to avoid from paying lawsuit debts and judgments against you where, you've been ordered to pay back, your debts, money you owed, lawsuits you've lost because you just didn't even show up because you're dumb, little girl. Like, you can't, that's not how that works. And then you try to say, "Oh, I'm broke, I don't have the money to do it." And then next thing you know, they're filing bankruptcies all over the place. At some point, it becomes bankruptcy fraud, especially if you lie about the money you do and claim you don't have and all this other stuff. It becomes fraudulent because you're lying about basically you not having that money when you have access to allegedly billions of dollars. You're going on videos bragging about how you can make, thousands of dollars in a week and 200% return on your investment. ROIs that don't exist anywhere because that's not how it works even in a capitalist society, because no one makes that type of money. So, you definitely, this is why all these things, it's not about a good thing coming to an end. It was never a good thing to begin with. And there's a price to pay for it. In January 10th, 2023, y'all paying attention? Y'all see this? YouTube interview with Ponzi Patrol. There you go, Ponzi Patrol. Defendant Corbett admitted that AWS Mining's contract terms basically guarantee X amount of money, which they shouldn't have. Yeah, because Ponzi Patrol did his job and got you to basically admit it's a scam. I mean, it's not realistic nowhere. Yeah, we knew what we were doing. So, there you go, Ponzi Patrol. Let's see. So, I mean, these documents here. This is all the evidence, documentation, videos, testimony, statements they've made in these videos. You know, reportings. So you guys can read that here if you want. This will come out at some point, be available to the public. This is something else. I just never thought in a million years I would finally see the day I would be reading this document with a big grin on my face and just finally, so many of you guys have said, what's going to happen? We're going to be able to get our money back. Sadly, it's not about finding this little girl. It really isn't. It's about when she's found, what assets will she have, or what assets will they be able to get? Because, yeah, I mean, I'd rather her go to prison for many years. Like, you know, the other boy. I'd rather she go to prison and like Sam Bankman-Fried. They go to prison, share a cell together, and they in there for 20, 30 years. I'd rather that happen. That way, she's not out in the streets and loose upon society and not able to ever do this again. She did it twice, back to back. And she didn't even give it like a break. She went from AWS to NovaTech. So I would rather, even if you guys can't get the money directly from her or her assets, I still would rather see her go to prison. Because she's not going to stop. And she's a narcissist. You know, the communication she sent to the defendant, it's like, this is her saying, I don't care. They believed it. I stole their money. It is what it is. Like, you know, and then blame it on God. No, God didn't tell you to steal money. God didn't tell you to do that. In furtherance of her scheme, defendant Cynthia Petion rebranded herself as Reverend CEO and filled her NovaTech videos and Zoom calls with references to religion. She proclaimed that Jesus was the best affiliate marketer in the world and declared that the idea to form NovaTech came to me in a vision, a message from God, and that literally this came to me while brushing my teeth because God likes to speak to me when He thinks I am listening. Oh, Lord. Defendant ZZ reinforced the idea of defendant Cynthia Petion being a visionary and a hero to his downlines and even likened her to Harriet Tubman freeing people from slavery. Stop. She ain't freed nobody from slavery. And Harriet Tubman went through some real harsh life experiences to free people who were actually enslaved and in bondage. All this little girl did was steal money. She ain't freed nobody from nothing. She can't even free herself. She on the run thinking she hiding. That's the extent to the highlight of your life. You thinking that you cannot be extradited here because you don't understand the definition of the term extradition. You thinking that you're going to be able to just leave the U.S. and they can't serve you if they can't find you. They don't need to find you to still go on with this case. What they'll do is they'll just bring you in and capture you and take you to court and then lock you up. And now say, well, she's a flight risk and she has a bad habit of ignoring subpoenas and summons and not showing up for court. So no bail for you. You won't even get it or bond. And you'll be there until your court hearing. Because you're stupid. Jesus Christ. Harriet Tubman, and through her vision, has created ways within the wilderness. Oh, I can't. So, my mind is blown at this the extent of it all. And this is something that this isn't just something that the Attorney General typed up in 2 minutes. No. This took weeks to prepare. Understand that. Defendants use social media such as Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Telegram groups, and Zoom meetings, in-person meetings, and other means to promote NovaTech. Yeah, it's wire fraud, and y'all go to prison on that. Just on that alone is about 5 to 10 years. And I hope you get every second you deserve it now. How you say things and the verbiage that's used is extremely important. I'm sure it is. At the end of the day, fraud is fraud. Just like I was saying about the link. You can talk about something all day. You post a link up, tell people, y'all can click on it if you want, but understand I'm going to get money out of it. You solicited. That is the promotion that you seem to fail to understand or define the term of. It's simple stuff like defining terms that are getting you all jacked up even the more. I mean, the fact that you're stealing money is one thing, but the fact you're being cocky with it is insulting because you don't believe definitions of terms. And you think going to court saying no one's a victim is actually going to get you out of that. That's not how that works. You can't go to court acting like you're doing a YouTube video. Not how that works. Not how that works. Unbelievable. Who? And they just keep going. Who are all these people in these pictures? Okay, so this must be the beginning parts of that. So y'all see all these people up here. They got pictures. They're gonna have exhibits. Exhibits being these, links to videos, photos, the promotion information, the Zoom meetings that I told y'all about. Remember them Zoom meetings? I said it's gonna get many of these promoters jacked up their YouTube channels. Where they saying that I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice somehow is going to spare them. No, yeah, y'all still stuck on stupid. So this, Lord, this goes on and on and on and on. And I have a lot of these pictures and stuff I found from their dumb videos in my videos on my channel under the Novatechfx playlist. All kinds of information. This is the ROI they promise. They just type this stuff up. It's not even math. Half this stuff doesn't even make sense. God. How do you go from 2.68 down to 0.03 in less than a month? It's not how math works. It's not how math works. The smart big, yeah, those ATMs, I actually found that information myself and put it in the Just the Facts videos. It's crazy. All these subsidiaries, all these things they claim that they had that were licensed and regulated and da-da-da-da-da, they weren't. And then you get these dumb promoters that they sit here and they just talk about how horrible the U.S. is. And no, St. Vincent and the Grenadines had regulation requirements as well that they ignored. And they claimed to be licensed there. And they also had regulations that require for them to register as a digital assets company. That's in my, Just the Facts videos. I did a separate video talking about that. So it wasn't just the U.S. No one wants these dumb Ponzi schemes. Look how much damage it does financially. Over $1 billion? That's a lot of money. That's not circulating in our financial system now. Goodness gracious. So this is just faith over fear. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. How many times did I hear that from you stupid promoters on your YouTube channels? Defendants Corby, ZZ, and Cicerone went to great lengths to assure investors of NovaTech's legitimacy. They dismissed allegations that NovaTech was a fraud and a Ponzi scheme and told investors to ignore all criticism of NovaTech as fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That FUD, mud, dud, hood, dumb stuff that y'all coming up with, emanating from competitors, and some promoters appealed to the piety of their investors, proclaiming faith over fear. Nope. Laws over common sense, I guess. I don't know. This is about a matter of law and common sense and math. Simple math. Basic math. Like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. That type of simple math. You didn't even have to do statistics in this to know that this wasn't right. And these promoters talking about fear, uncertainty, and doubt. How many times did I hop on people's lives that were promoting this stuff? Just cutting them in. I had no problem cutting them in half over that nonsense, over that FUD nonsense. Dap Dunbar. Y'all literally sat here and you bamboozled people like this. And you didn't care how your own cult leader was looking at all of you. How she saw all of you. And the defendant ZZ gave over these messages as proof. Jesus. Faith over fear. Investors critical of NovaTech were summarily removed from WhatsApp group chats. Because that was a thing too. Deleting comments. Promoters were deleting comments. Make sure you add that in there. Attorney General Letitia James. They removed comments as well. So they stifled free speech under the First Amendment. Something that obviously they don't care about either. Our whole Constitution is just kicked to the side. Because no one likes the truth being told. So yeah, they deleted comments and wanted YouTube videos removed. Unlimited freedom. I'm telling you right now, you will never get away with that. Having my video removed because you didn't like it. Now, good luck to telling the Attorney General of New York that. Good luck to that. In the same video, defendant sits around and advised investors, don't let people who are not here tonight attending the presentation to discourage you to say, oh, it is a scam. Oh, it is a pyramid. Because it was. It's a scam and a pyramid and everything else. It's a fraud. All these people should be in prison. Dr. ZZ and Pastor Bob, y'all going to prison. It's not a company that is paying Peter to pay Paul. That's exactly what Ponzi schemes are. That's all they do. We couldn't prove how it was actually self-sustaining. January 10, 2023, YouTube interview Ponzi Patrol. She cited again. They were not running a Ponzi scheme. Corbett similarly stated, they're not running a Ponzi scheme. I know those people. I know they're trading with funds. Yeah, from their account to everyone else's. They trading funds, all right. They're laundering it from all the victims' accounts to their account, and then maybe dabbling money into the promoters' accounts. Then, that's how you get your referral money, unlimited freedom. Because when people click the link and they pay for something, you get a percentage of that. Money laundering. Yay! Because he doesn't understand definitions of terms, he's going to be offended by that. Defendant statements about sustainability of NovaTech and their denial that it was a Ponzi scheme were materially false and misleading because NovaTech was, in fact, a Ponzi scheme. Yes, it was. So, ooh, child. Oh, yeah, I did this here. Defendant statements were no more based in fact or credible than the following exchange recorded in a September 22, 2022 YouTube video titled NovaTech CEO Cynthia Petion answers questions, where Cynthia Petion suggested that an FBI agent, this is the part that I want y'all to understand, you cannot lie on any FBI anyone doing an audit of a Ponzi scheme and saying you're clear. That's not how that works at all. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. And Corey Sampson, you better go in and go to court. And when you testify, you were in that hearing. Because I have the video on my YouTube channel in my playlist. You better testify and tell the truth of what was said in that video, in that meeting. Talking about the 700-page report cleared, gave NovaTech a clean bill of health. The FBI would never do that. They only care about you committing federal offenses and criminal charges on a federal level. They don't care about giving you a clean bill of health, saying that a Ponzi scheme is good to go. They wouldn't even do an audit. They have financial accounting, forensics and stuff, but they don't audit companies. That's not the scope of that agency and what they exist. They don't exist to do financial audits. Oh, Lord. I told y'all, I said that's going to catch up to her. So, the promoter and the bottom line of that whole story is, this is what the promoter said in this report here. And the bottom line of that whole story is that after 700 pages, they said, yes, the FBI investigator said that this is a good company to move forward with. And so we're really happy. Then Cynthia Petion said, girl, you just messed up saying that because not everybody's going to write support asking for that report. Gonna write support asking for the report. I don't have it. Don't ask me. Don't come looking for that report. I burnt it. After I read the bottom line, I was like, oh, thank you for telling me what I already know. And thank you, Dum Dum, for saying that in a video. Oh, God. The video about the alleged but now destroyed FBI report declaring NovaTech a good company was viewed almost 16,000 times, because they just go on a number of views. And this was at the time this report was written. It's probably more now. In the late summer, fall of 2022, various securities regulators began to sound alarms about the scheme. So, this is when it starts to come down to, the money coming to a halt. NovaTech fell behind on, of course, because of the scheme being brought into the limelight. Mounting actions by regulators rattled investors who rushed to withdraw their crypto from NovaTech. NovaTech fell behind on payments, and investors complained about long delays. On January 26, 2023, defendant ZZ told investors unable to withdraw to stop whining because their money now belonged to NovaTech. For those of you with 6 months and older saying my money, it is no longer your money, it is their money. Now you might say I did not withdraw my seed money. Well, that is your choice. You can withdraw it if you want, but you are the one who decided to leave it there. You're going to prison. Prison. NovaTech suspends withdrawals from trading accounts. Oh, Lord, that's when they did this, the first, I guess, major temporary freeze or something to that extent. Oh, February 5th, 2023, NovaTech announced on its investor portal that it was suspending withdrawals from trading accounts until April 1st. So that's when they had that big first break. This temporary freeze was intended to protect our customers from making erratic decisions that can affect the integrity of our program, because you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. Going to prison, and then they're going to go to hell. They're going to prison, then you're going to hell. My God. Oh. Nevertheless, NovaTech assured investors that its business model is not only strong but completely sustainable into the unforeseeable future. NovaTech reminded investors that it has always produced, performed, and paid out every customer since its inception in June of 2019, regardless of the adversity we may have faced in every market condition in the last 4 years. Where there's no market condition when you're not trading anything in the actual market, because you're simply robbing Peter to pay Paul. And your crypto was fake, if it existed, or it was only worth pennies on the dollar, US dollar at that. Not even based on pesos, like Mexican pesos. It was based on 6 pennies on the US dollar. Jesus Christ. All right. And then just kind of go on, just outlining how it just transpired and went downhill from there even the more. They were basically kicking people out of WhatsApp at this point that were putting anything up that they said sound negative, like that FUD, dud, hood, nud, hood, nuts, none of that, McDuds. They didn't care about none of that. They just kicked you out off of, the WhatsApps. They deleted comments. Promoters deleted comments. Then they would get mad and cut comments off in their live streams or whatever. Then they just started doing videos where they were deleting comments and removing comments from there because, nobody wanted to face the truth of the matter. So you can't say as a promoter, if you were a promoter, that you did not aid in this buffoonery, because you did. You didn't come out and tell the truth. Then you stifle free speech and expression. You remove comments. People were kicked out of WhatsApp messenger systems. You did all of that, which aided in the endeavor of keeping a fraudulent scheme alive and going. So you kept this false perception up by removing anyone that tried to tell the truth. So that's just as dangerous. You shut out the voices of people who are truly concerned about their money. Me? I just did my research on it, and they tried to defraud my mother. And I told you all that would not be, they would feel that wrath for me. And it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. And this is what happens when you steal $1 billion and think you're supposed to get away with it. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I mean, I've done my research on this for over a year, and I'm still blown away at what I'm reading. NovaTech lost its trading platform. It's never really had. It was never real. It was fake. Those little lines and stuff y'all saw him moving in chart graphs and all this stuff, they were fake. They were just programmed to go on auto recycle. So after so many cycles through, that chart graph would just repeat itself over and over and over again. It was not driven by any real data or numbers or anything. They were fake. I told y'all that. It was fake. None of that was real. All the cease and desist, they didn't care. Devastating losses to investors. Oh, goodness gracious. On May 12, 2023, NovaTech suspended all new accounts in the U.S. and Canada, which made up the majority of its investors. In addition, NovaTech continued to restrict withdrawals from trading accounts, and in June 2023, allowed requests for withdrawal of only 5% instead of 15% as promised on April 1st. In response to defendant ZZ's question asking what to tell his downlines, defendant Cynthia Petion replied, "Withdraw 5% and followed up with, or tell them to quit effing withdrawing." So you dropping the F-bomb like this and you supposed to be somebody revving anything? Girl, you gonna go to hell. God almighty. Woo, since June 2023, U.S. investors have been unable to withdraw their funds from the NovaTech platform, resulting in hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. Oh, my good Lord. One New York nurse invested a total of $25,000 into NovaTech from March 2022 through March 2023, believing it to be a Christian investment group. She was promised 3% returns compounded weekly with an option to withdraw her cryptocurrency at any time without any penalties. She was able to withdraw a few $1,000s, but most of her funds have been lost. And you know what? That's just one of the stories. She's not the only one. Another New Yorker informed the regulatory agency that his parents invested $50,000 of their savings into NovaTech February of 2023 last year, were unable to withdraw and are facing financial hardship as a result. He stated, "It is heartbreaking to see my parents struggle and worry about their financial future. Seeing my mom cry because of NovaTech is something I can never forget. My father's friend also invested over $75,000 in it, and she has been suffering as well." A New York investor, single parent with 2 children. And I'm reading these stories because this is the reality of the situation and how it's affected people in real time. So while you have dumb promoters like Unlimited Freedom talking about no one's a victim, you have people's parents in their 70s and 80s investing money because they thought this was a Christian-based investment group, and were being told this stuff because they didn't want to continue to go through the financial hardship that they were going through, that are older and might not be well aware of what cryptocurrency is or how it works. Those are the victims that you're sitting here mindlessly, soullessly saying aren't victims. You're a piece of crap. And I hope the New York Attorney General comes for you. I'm reading this because these are real stories, real people who are going through this. My mother's godmother, she put in $10,000, $15,000, $50,000 plus. Her son did about 50 grand. She did about 10 grand. He did about 50 grand. They'll never see that money. Never see that money. New York investor, a single parent with 2 children, was also taking care of his parents, invested approximately $20,000 in NovaTech because it was deemed to be operating as an investment bank, thus paying its consumers at a rate of 4% interest weekly. He had been unable to withdraw any money from NovaTech since November 2022. Another New Yorker invested $131,000 in November of 2022 after learning about the passive income platform with 3% weekly ROI from YouTube, Telegram, and Zoom meetings. He stated that the CEO is a former pastor. I trusted them, that's why I joined. He had not been able to withdraw his money from NovaTech. While most investors lost the majority of their investments, defendants Petian transferred tens of millions of dollars worth of investor cryptocurrency out of NovaTech. So you want to talk about no one's a victim? She literally laundered out money and transferred it out. Tens of millions of dollars out and put it somewhere for her to enjoy and no one else. But no one's a victim? You're an idiot. Defendant Ciceron invested $7,500 over time and withdrew over $3 million from NovaTech. Defendant Corbett invested approximately $25,000 over time and withdrew over $800,000 from NovaTech. Defendant ZZ invested approximately $200,000 over time and withdrew over $3 million from NovaTech. AWS and NovaTech were illegal pyramid schemes, and this is still under the factual allegations. Like, these are facts, because it is. And here you have statutes and case laws and things you're going to start seeing in this come up, where it helps to substantiate the claims of why it's defined to be illegal, why they're defined to be pyramid schemes, Ponzi schemes, however you want to put it. It's about the same. Defendants violated New York state registration laws. They violated federal laws. They violated a whole lot of laws. Good Lord. So this is, like I said, 62 pages long. Defendants failed to produce documents and records pursuant to OAG's subpoena. So on October 24, 2023, the Office of Attorney General served subpoenas. Ducis Tecum. It basically served subpoenas on defendant NovaTech and defendants Petian, demanding information and documents relevant to OAG's investigation of defendants' business practices. On October 25th, the OAG additionally, they were not I want y'all to see this number 183 here. Defendants were not exempted from the filing requirements. For those who kept lying and saying that they never were exempted. They had no exemption status. And I covered that in my video. And it wasn't hard to find that. It was just me Googling. They were never ever exempted from filing requirements. So they had to file the financial disclosures by law. They never did that. They failed to file registration statements with the OAG prior to engaging in conduct that requires such filing in violation of GBL Statute Code 359-E3. As dealers and salespersons of securities under New York law, defendants were required to file a registration statement with OAG prior to engaging in conduct. Defendants Cynthia and Eddie Petian, ZZ Corbett, and Ciceron acted as salespersons without successfully completing the required examinations known as the Series 63 or the Series 66 that cover securities, industry, regulations, and ethical practices and obligations. I told you all that in one of my videos where I showed where you go to the website, you can check to see if they were licensed or registered under the FTC, I think, website. Or was it was one of those financial security, I have to pull it up. It's in one of my many videos that I did where they did not have that Series 66 license. Saying that you are registered and licensed to sell securities is not the same as you saying I have my real estate license. That's not how that works. It's not the same thing. So they were never licensed. They never completed any courses. They never took any tests. That's also in my Just the Facts video as well. They were never licensed. Never. Okay, so back down to the subpoena part. So they were served subpoenas October 24th and October 25th. They were served subpoenas basically subpoenas to testify. So they were served subpoenas for, documents, and then they were served subpoenas to testify. The OAG mailed the NovaTech subpoenas to the address. Of course, they weren't real addresses. They were allegedly a physical address. So it says here, which according to Subpoenas, the address they had here, according to Subpoenas, was his physical address for Florida, required to receive mail, correspondence, file taxes, etc. It was never a real address. I don't even think they ever even lived there. They failed to produce the required information and documents. They failed to produce the discovery, and they were subpoenaed for it. They still didn't do it. Pursuant to the Martin Act, the person who fails to obey the command of a subpoena without reasonable cause is guilty of a misdemeanor. So this is what I'm saying. You can't just ignore a subpoena or court order without telling the court what's going on. You can tell them. I mean, it's reasonable to say, if I'm ordered to pay to use a website, a OFW, or pay to put money into a garnet light item, but if I don't have the money and I can prove it, then that's you're not trying to just dismiss what you've been ordered to do. You're saying I cannot fulfill the obligation because of this reason, and here's the evidence to prove it. That's reasonable. But they never provided a reasonable cause of anything, and she literally thinks because she gets to leave the U.S. allegedly and somewhere in Panama, that who cares if you get served? They can't serve you. No, they served you. You just think that it's gonna bring it to a halt. That's not how courts work, or laws, or investigations. None of it works that way. It does not work that way. A violation of criminal law is an illegal act under Executive Law Statute Code 6312. Jesus. So they have the first causes of action. Basically saying the plaintiff repeats and realleges the paragraphs above as if fully stated herein. The acts and practices of the defendants alleged herein violated all the statutes here, the laws here that they broke. Second cause of action, market securities and commodities fraud, general business law. These are different laws that they're citing. So you have general business law statute code 352 and 353. Then you have general business law statute code 352-C. So this is basically what they've done and what laws they broke. Third cause of action, failure to register. General business laws code 35, statute code 359-E. So she's just laying it out, each cause of action, what they've done to break the law, which laws were broken, and what we're alleging. And I really hope they go to prison for many years. Take all them promoters with you. And then in the end, you have prayer for relief. So what are you asking the court for? Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully demands that the court issue an order and judgment against defendants. Yes, because we want an order and a judgment. There's no trial to be had, really, on this, simply because, as Dum Dum put it, you can't be served if you're not in the U.S., as if you can't be extradited. But because this is right now just at a civil level, even though they have criminal charges that can be filed from this, and I hope they are, they can go to jail just for, failing to answer to the subpoenas. They were court ordered. So hopefully from this, then comes the bench warrants, and then the criminal charges. And bless God when that happens. So, the New York AG literally can get these criminal charges brought forth. She's an attorney general. That's what she does as a prosecutor. She brings forth criminal charges. And then hopefully, that'll get it going with some warrants. and they can start looking for them. They'll get the FBI involved to aid in trying to find out where they are. If they're in Panama, I mean, they can be extradited either way. If we can get people out of Russia, we can get somebody out of Panama. So they can easily, and I think that it's going to get to a point where they're going to want them bad enough to get some extradition going, to have them brought here if they do know where they are. I personally think that they're just hiding in plain sight, but maybe they're still in Panama. I don't know. And there's someone who knows exactly where they are, and those people who know exactly where they are going to flip. They're going to flip. They're going to flip, because it comes down to whether or not you want to spend many, many years in prison. So one of the defendants, Corbett, that James Corbett dude, I mean, he's making news here in Georgia. He's going to flip. He can be a butthole on YouTube all day, but these defendants, they're gonna flip. The defendant ZZ, he gave up this information, those private messages and stuff. I don't think that he had to be subpoenaed for that. I think he cooperated, but they're gonna continue to cooperate until they get these peons. That's who they want, and they're gonna continue to cooperate. I just say lock up promoters with them. That's just me. But they're definitely going to cooperate until they get them. So, of course, she's asking that the court issue an order in judgment against defendants, permanently enjoining defendants from violating. So, we just want them to pay the price for it. Barring them from promoting, offering, granting participation in these stupid Ponzi schemes they created that they didn't think anybody would know was a Ponzi scheme. Paying out money in damages. The question is, does she have money left in some account somewhere? If she does, can it be converted into liquidity? As soon as they find out where their assets are, they're gonna freeze them. They're gonna freeze them. If it won't be hard to get this order, because these dumb peons are hiding out, and the promoters are not cooperating, and then a couple of them in jail already, like that Corbett dude. So, I think that it's going to come down to where, all right, this is going to be granted. This order is going to be granted. And then they're going to start issuing out subpoenas and warrants for arrest. And I hope that happens. And no, you don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then hopefully the disgorgement will be set up. As you all can see here on the last page, they want the defendants to pay damages caused directly and indirectly by fraudulent, deceptive acts and violations of law alleged herein, plus applicable prejudgment interest, directing defendants to disgorge all amounts or assets obtained in connection with as a result of the fraudulent, deceptive acts, directing defendants to pay restitution of all amounts or assets obtained from investors in connection with the fraud and deceptive acts, directing defendants to pay plaintiffs' costs and fees, directing such other equitable relief as may be necessary to redress defendants' violations of New York law, and granting such other and further relief as may be just and proper. And this is the Attorney General of the state of New York. Good job. I mean, they have, names and information of other counsels, co-counsels that aided in this this complaint being filed. You got your Senior Enforcement Counsel here. You got your Deputy Bureau Chief, Investor Protection Bureau, Chief of the Investor Protection Bureau, Counsel for the People of the State of New York, Letitia James, and then Lauren McDonough is the Assistant Attorney General. So this is what we have so far. This video is 2 hours long, and yes, it's worth every penny. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys understand this is serious. I've been saying this for a year, and continue to file your complaints. Continue to go on your SEC website, FBI website, file your complaints, submit your evidence and documentation you have, no matter where you are. For Canada, I think you guys will have to continue to push with the OSC. Maybe you can ask them to partner up and collaborate with the SEC here in the U.S. There is a class action lawsuit that I mentioned earlier in the video. It's free to get in that. I don't know why everybody thinks you got to pay for the attorney up front. No, that's not how class action lawsuits work. And the only people that are telling you not to get an attorney and to file a lawsuit are the dumb promoters that are still trying to get away with this. You're going to have to learn how to ignore them buffoons. As a matter of fact, befriend them and see where the hell they at, and so they can get picked up as well. And go from there. Corey Sampson and that Dunbar, you can't be this dumb, bro. Y'all need to go to court. Answer those subpoenas, go to court. Neither one of you seem to be equipped and ready to go to prison for many years on this. And it's going to get bigger than what you can handle. I guarantee you that. Go to court and answer the subpoenas. Go testify. Go give your evidence. It won't be as bad if you at least try to cooperate. But walk around saying nobody a victim is not the way to go. It's soulless, it's heartless, and all it does is that it proves to the court that you deserve to be in prison. Just like your dumb cult leader. Alright, Lady Luck Club, informative information. At some point I'm gonna, hopefully I get the court file, the document once it's filed with the clerk of court and signed and stamped. And then I'm still trying to get the court document of the actual civil lawsuit that I mentioned earlier. I saw the reporting on it, but I want the full court filing. I want that court filing. And I've been trying to find it. You guys can always, I mean, anybody can do a FOIA request for it. But I really want that court filing. So I hope you guys, continue to speak up, take action. These promoters are still out here saying all this nonsense. Don't pay attention to their comments where they're sitting here getting pat on the back. Those are bots and spams and other people who don't care. Don't pay no attention to that, because at the end of the day, this is your livelihood. And NovaTech is not paying your bills. And Cynthia Pettion thinks all of you are cult members without a brain. And she's already proven that by saying that to other defendants that gave her up real quick, gave up these messages. And now you owe her nothing. You have no loyalty to her, to NovaTech, to these promoters. You don't owe them anything. Please stop listening to these promoters telling you to stop seeking actions for being defrauded. There are real people's lives and livelihoods affected. People have lost thousands of dollars. And I'm talking about defrauding the elderly. People who are over the age of 65 years old that was swindled out of at least $50,000. That's a felony in and of itself. That's another federal charge, dummy. Lil Girl, Cynthia Pettion. Defrauding the elderly. That's exactly what you did. You and your promoters. That's a charge in and of itself that can get you about another 5 to 10 years in prison. So you can just have this stuff stack up if you want to, thinking you're just hiding. You're not. Still waiting on that wrath of God and rain showers or whatever. All right, I'm done. Later, look out. Y'all check out my YouTube channel and playlist, Novatechfx playlist. All the other videos that I have there. All the research I've done. Good job to Ponzi Patrol. Landing in this and putting that James Corbett dude on the spot. Good job to that. To all those Paul Hardingham, all of you who've done great investigative work on this, reporting on this stuff. I might not work for Channel 2, but I know how to Google. And as long as I can still research, get information, you guys are sending me, my connections sending me documents and stuff to report on, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to put it out there because you all need to know what to do and how to go and how to move forward. And I hope everybody gets relief in this. You guys share the videos, especially this one. It's long, but you got 62 pages of court filings in here. From a court filing from the New York Attorney General Letitia James. Good job to them. And I'm come on, FBI, y'all need to hurry up. All right, deuces.